Hi, I'm Scott. This is Big Guy Boards. In this video I'm going to be talking about the Cre8tion Hot Pepper Jelly. I'll talk about a bit of the background, my background with this board. I've owned quite a few of these. I'll talk about some of the conditions I've ridden it in, what it goes like, some of the features of the board. Okay, so I've owned quite a few of these boards, so I'll just give a bit of background on that. So the first one I owned, I put a post up on forums, surfing forums. I was asking for recommendations. I've always really struggled in kind of smaller, weaker waves, so I asked for suggestions on a really good grovel board. The amount of recommendations I got to try this Hot Pepper Jelly was unbelievable. Everyone was just, raving about it. So I went to Cre8tion, I got a custom. I was really impressed with the whole process actually as well, and the board was just mind-blowing. I'll talk through some of the kind of my experience on these boards in a bit, but it just blew me away. But having a surfboard addiction, I'm always experimenting with different boards, so I eventually got rid of that. Tried lots of different grovel boards and hybrid type boards for average waves, and none of them really measured up, and I couldn't work out why. There were, just certain things, they all had good characteristics, but I couldn't really, they never seemed good enough. And then I got back on one of these, and it was a kind of eureka light bulb moment, and I realised, because I'd ridden these boards, I was kind of downwardly comparing every other board to these. These are so good that nothing ever measured up. So after kind of having that realisation, I ordered this one. So now I'll talk about some of my experience riding this. Okay, I'll talk through some of the conditions I've ridden this board on and just talk through my experience of riding the board. So I've had it in, probably for me, my lower end limit is probably waist high. Any smaller than that, I generally need a long board, or more recently, I've been using the Cre8tion Baboon. I'll put a link to that video up here. But yeah, so from waist high up to, I've just literally just had this out today in overhead waves actually. One of my local beaches, it's more of a kind of longboard wave, so I thought this would kind of be well suited to that. And it's just stupidly fun. It's the speed that this thing generates shouldn't be allowed. It's ridiculous, and it almost feels like you're cheating. There's no such thing as too much speed, but it's just so fast. It's unreal. It's always hard to know exactly what characteristics do that on a board. So is it, they've done loads of work on the fin placement on this board. There's years and years of refinement and development to get this thing as good as it is now. So fin placement, possibly the wider tail block as well, helps you generating that speed off the back foot. It could be other things as well, bottom contours perhaps. So there's a number of things that just make this board work. But generally what happens is, if you've got a board with a lot of speed generation, so a really fast board, generally you're sacrificing performance a bit. And the magic thing about this board is, although it's super fast, it also turns as well. So today, for example, I was actually able to do some proper re-entries because it was a decent size, and yeah, it just goes through the lip, goes straight up, comes down, and just feels great. So compared to most other grovel boards I've ridden, it's got the speed, but it also wants to turn. So that's the magic thing about this board. Down at the lower end as well, because of that speed, it's easy to get up and going on weaker, even really mushy waves. So yeah, overall, it's a mind-blowing board. And as I say, now I'm back on this. If I was to get on other boards, they just don't feel as good. So yeah, I'll talk about fins next. At the same sort of time that I started working with the guys at Cre8tion, I was also developing these fins, the Goliath XXL fins. There's a more detailed video specifically on these fins. I'll put the link up here. But basically, as I was developing these fins, we're experimenting with different construction methods. I was testing them in the Cre8tion boards, and we found that the carbon, the flex pattern in the carbon for some reason, went really well with the Cre8tion board. So especially the Hot Pepper Jelly, and my signature model as well, the Didness. For some reason, the flex pattern in these just works really well with those boards. It just gives a bit more spring in and out of turns. So these are the fins that I've been riding with this board. Hot Pepper Jelly is available now at bigguyboards.com. We've also got a promotion on at the moment. We've got a discount on the fins if you buy them with a board as well. So head over to Big Guy Boards and have a look what we've got.